Hey guys, welcome to a fresh video on the Blue Abroad YouTube channel. We got some news last night, about 7 p.m, that 3 Carlton players were told that they were open to explore their options elsewhere. The first one was Matt Owies, which we touched on a few days ago. So we're not completely shocked by that, but now it seems to be a bit more of an official report. The second one is Young, who is currently contracted until 2026. And the third one is Matt Kennedy, who's contracted until 2025. So this was how it was reported.
Meantime, Carlton is continuing to look at ways to overhaul its list, with Matt Kennedy, who was subbed out before half-time in the finals loss to Brisbane, told he's free to look elsewhere in 2025. He sees himself as an inside midfielder. The Blues transparent, suggesting his future lies in his ongoing half-forward role. He's one of 3 Blues told they can look around. Young, another. He also featured in that final, contracted until 2026. Matt Owies, without a deal to stay at Icon Park, and is gauging interest. Nick Haynes and Dan Houston on the Blues hit list.
So with Kennedy, it's a philosophical conversation around position, it would seem. He played every game this year. His availability was a key feature of his season and a key storyline of his season. And, you know, on the one hand, you can look at it and say, oh, you know, but he had a kid and, you know, what happened in the final and, you know, he doesn't get a fair go. Well, I think the reality is he plays the position he does, which is a multi-position, because he hasn't been able to lock down his spot in that inside midfield brigade. So it makes sense from that regard. It's sad because I love Kennedy. I love what he brings, love the spirit, love the story. But ultimately, this is what happens when you finish 8th. And so, you know, you're going to lose out on players and you're going to look for opportunities to better the list, whether that's a player that has a little bit more to offer than Kennedy as a half forward, whether it is a midfielder. A lot of the conversation this year has been around the dynamic nature of the midfield, very one-paced, you know, it's been called slow. Who knows? Young's an interesting one because we just got the news that Marchbank was delisted. So if Young's also been told to look elsewhere, that means we have removed 2 key defenders from the list potentially. There's got to be a play. There has to be a method to the madness. My best guess is that there is someone or a number of players who we have our eyes on, who play in that position. Because, like I said, if Marchbank and Young are gone, okay, maybe we replace Marchbank with Nick Haynes for argument's sake. Marchbank barely played anyway. Young also barely played. He was available, but barely played. You just get the feeling something's happening beneath the surface. So I guess my question to you is, what is that? What's beneath the Young conversation? 2022, he comes across to fill the void that was left, you know, when Liam Jones played and when Liam Jones left. Thought he had a really strong season. Last year, I thought he fell out of favour, lost his confidence after that Essendon game, and we didn't see him much after that. This year, spent a lot of the year in the VFL. So something is not seemingly connected there. And who knows what that conversation was like. Lewis would obviously want to be playing more footy in the seniors than what he has. Maybe it was a conversation around him asking what he needed to do and the club just saying, you know, we don't see you as part of the future. And that would be disappointing to see that happen. But at the same time, again, comes the territory. Owies is heating. This is now a really warm rumor. It is all speculation at this point because they've just been told that they can look elsewhere. Now, whether or not a deal presents itself, well, that remains to be seen. But seeing this news, my first reaction was, okay, there's a play being made here. So what about you? What's your reaction to this news about these 3? What does it tell you? And let's go from there and see how this develops.